can the EFF define its relationship with the DA? And is the EFF satisfied with Helen Zille's apology for her tweet about colonialism? But why has the EFF opened criminal cases against Minister Malusi Gigaba, President Jacob Zuma, and the Guptas? And could taking land without compensation trigger a civil war as the Freedom Front Plus leader Peter Groenewald threatens? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong and welcome to the show. My name is Paul Sedu. Last week, leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, held a press media briefing, that is, where he addressed a number of issues. On top of the agenda were recently leaked emails linked to the Guptas. Amongst others, Malema said the email scandal was proof that those who run government today have betrayed the country. And true to the promise, the EFF Commander-in-Chief officially opened a case against President Jacob Zuma and Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba on Friday. This apparently relates to their roles in a Transnet tender, with the rail company said to have inflated locomotive prices by 11 million rand. Meanwhile, the relationship between the EFF and the DA is also on the spotlight. This after Malema warned that the DA and Helen Zille's controversial tweet about colonialism need to be looked at. Zille has since apologized for her tweet, stripped off all her decision-making powers, but the party let her retain her position as Western Cape leader. We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views on the numbers 089-110-4210, our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today is the Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Floyd Shivambu. He joins me in studio and we'll be taking your calls for whatever question that you may have. Floyd, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And you recently got married. Congratulations.
No. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We had to take that step.
Yep. Now, you have just clarified that there's going to be a lot of clarification during your June 16 rally, in particular relating to the DA, EFF, I don't know what to call this.
No, look, I think the Commander-in-Chief will be addressing the June 16 rally of the EFF on Friday, 16 June, in Boipatung, and he's going to speak substantially about what people think is the relationship between the EFF and the DA, but to clarify our standing in terms of what was said in the a press conference by the Commander-in-Chief, that we have to stand firm against racist practices and utterances of the Western Cape Premier and what has now transpired. So the Commander-in-Chief is going to be giving a clear line in terms of what will be the consequences, what will be the action of the Economic Freedom Fighters with regards to their recent developments in the Democratic Alliance. But one thing for sure is that the EFF is not in any coalition, is not in any alliance with the Democratic Alliance. We took a decision to vote against the ANC because we couldn't allow corruption to continue in the manner that has been happening in the past 23 years. Okay, no, that's fine. So we'll wait and hear what Julius says on Friday.
Yes. But let's now talk about the emails. Some are questioning them, the validity, the manner in which they were acquired. Some are confirming the contents, both from within the ANC and other parties. And whereas some, even within the ANC, are saying, no, let's wait and see. Let's talk about these emails.
Look, we can say today without any fear of contradiction that all the 20,000 plus emails that were leaked by the Gupta employees are authentic. They are all authentic, and they've been confirmed by a variety of role players that are mentioned in those emails. One of those is Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the president of IFP. He is too old to tell fibs or lies about confirming that he indeed sent an email to the Guptas specifying his dietary requirements before he visited them, because he was avoiding to eat curry, like many people who go there to eat curry. But also the neighbor of the Guptas who was being bought by them to relocate for 6 million rand. He confirms that all the communications there are correct. The former spokesperson of the Department of Sports under Biki has confirmed that he indeed sent an email asking for 6.2 million for the ANC Youth League. Ayanda Dlodlo has confirmed those emails, that all those interactions are a reflection of reality. So everyone else who is mentioned there, there's not been a single individual, not Malusi Gigaba, not Jacob Zuma, not all those co-conspirators in the corruption case that were acting against, has ever distanced themselves from the veracity and the truthfulness of the emails. No, he has not. He actually has questioned the source of the emails. He's actually asking where are the emails coming from, because he did not anticipate that he's going to be exposed there for everyone to see that he has been coordinating the corruption that is being committed by the Guptas here in South Africa. He has been one of the key role players in the Gupta corruption when he was a Minister of Public Enterprises. He appointed board members on the instruction of the Guptas. If you check the board members of Transnet during his tenure, the board members of Dinel, the board members later on of Eskom, all of them were co-directors of Gupta companies, and everything else that they did in those companies were affirming Gupta's interest by utilizing some dodgy transaction advisors called regiments and trillion capital to siphon off billions of rands. In Transnet, only 17.4 billion rands was siphoned off for their own corrupt benefits. And this is the evidence that we presented at the Johannesburg Central Police Station when we went to open the case last week, Thursday.
Wiseman, you are in PE. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mpo, and good afternoon to the next Deputy President of South Africa.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. Floyd, I just have a comment, man. You see, Floyd, you guys are doing a great job. I don't know where South Africa will be if EFF was not here. I just want to thank again anyone who came with the idea of starting the EFF. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. And I see now even the blinds, they can see that you're doing a great job, because the forever useless brain demanders, they are also calling for the same things that you guys were calling 2 years back. I just want to say, keep it up. You are inspiring us. Even the trade unions, they are inspired by you guys. Even us workers all over South Africa, we are inspired by you guys. Hopefully by 2019, you will take over this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wiseman there in PE. Well, a complimentary call there. And then there were Home Affairs letters.
Yes, one of the issues that we brought to the public to know is the fact that Malusi Gigaba shortcutted the process of naturalization. So if you want to be a citizen of South Africa, you should have stayed in South Africa uninterrupted for a period of more than 90 days without you having gone to some other places. Yes. So when the Guptas were now coming into South Africa, a part of them, like the first group was naturalized far much earlier, but a new group, their children and their corrupt kids and all of those things that were coming, and corrupt uncles and cousins. Then Malusi Gigaba intervened to make sure that they're naturalized quickly, because he has now been captured. He is part of the Guptas. I don't know why he's not called Malusi Gupta, because everything else that the Guptas want, whether he is in public enterprises or Home Affairs, he moves with speed to make sure that the Guptas get what they want. Whenever they ask him jump, he always asks how high should I jump, because he is their product, he is their private property. So he is like Sebenzi Zwane, he is like Desmond van Rooyen. They are all private properties of the Gupta family who are told to jump, and they ask how high should they jump in protection of the Gupta interest. And this is one thing which South Africa must be very concerned about, because we are experiencing a phenomenon of parasitic capitalism, of capitalists who are now only reliant on state siphoning of its resources, stealing a lot of money, billions of rands, which otherwise are supposed to be providing a proper accommodation and residences for students all over South Africa. We're supposed to, the money which is supposed to provide free quality education, the money that's supposed to build houses, the money that's supposed to provide quality health care for all South Africans, the money which state-owned companies must inject into the economy to avoid recession. Because if state-owned companies do not invest into the South African economy, there will definitely be recession, because the state sector in the economy is a critical role player in terms of how we can expand our economy moving forward.
Van der Bijl Park, there's Pakaman. Pakaman, welcome.
Oh, Pedro, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
Okay, great to you. If you president for our future.
I can barely hear Pakamani now.
Okay. Hello?
Pakamani, your line is not well at all. It's not clear. I don't know what the problem is. We'll just ask our producers to just give you a call, and perhaps we'll get a clearer line there. But meanwhile, Floyd, it would appear that the EFF strategy is centered around President Zuma.
No, it's not about Jacob Zuma. It's wholeheartedly and holistically about the phenomenon of corruption and theft of money in South Africa. But also it's about exposing all forms of corruption. You will remember that when we went into Parliament in 2014, we tabled the substantial propositions around dealing with illicit financial flows. And who are the people who are at the center of illicit financial flows? It's white monopoly capital in the mining sector, in the financial sector. We even had a march to demand an end to illicit financial flows, like the tax base erosion, the transfer pricing, all those forms where huge capital they underprice the resources that they produce in South Africa so that they can pay lesser taxes. And we made substantial submissions to SARS, to the Davis Tax Committee, to the Standing Committee on Finance, to the Portfolio Committee on Trade and Industry. And those were decisive interventions in terms of what should happen. We even met with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange to say that all the companies that are engaged in illicit financial flows must be excluded from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, must not be allowed to list in South Africa, must not do business in South Africa. But because the political leadership, which has got majority in Parliament, is the one that is supposed to take those decisions, they've refused to take those decisions. They are party to the corruption. They are stealing this side, whilst the white monopoly capital is looting on the other side. So all the resources that are meant to empower South Africans are not empowering South Africans, because they're going into people's pockets in an illegal and illicit way.
Elvis, you're in Midrand. Welcome.
Hello, Lompo. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
Yes, and Mr. Shivambu there.
How are you?
That's all right. I must say, you see, the work that is done by EFF, I must say, it's a very tremendous work, because in the ANC, the problem is that they are corrupt to the core. And it's a mindset. They choose not to see the corruption. Whatever that you try to show them that this is wrong, they refuse to see it. So at the end of the day, what EFF is doing, it's a very good work. These guys, they deserve, to be recommended for this, other people to be voted for them, because the reality of the matter is that ANC is corrupt to the core. You can see wherever you go to Mpumalanga, it's the same language. When you see Youth League today, because they are also corrupted. When you tell them that this is wrong, they will start to say it's the anti-imperialists who are trying to tarnish the government, to take us of government. They always want to refuse the wrong things that are done. And in reality that, it's not, I used to think that EFF was around Jacob Zuma and so on. But it's not around Jacob Zuma. It's because the Jacob Zuma is a decision maker. Okay. Tomorrow when he feels like he wants somebody to come in, he allows them to come in. And tomorrow when he feels whatever that he wants to do, the law for him doesn't apply. The EFF took ANC and government to Concord. They won the case. Right now, we heard of how Gumta families come to South Africa without proper protocols. That can't be correct, can't be allowed.
Okay.
See, we are becoming a banana republic now.
All right.
Floyd Shivambu, my man, I salute you for that.
Okay, Elvis, thank you very much for, excuse me, for the call. Sorry about that. Now, one of your core principles is around land. And,
yes.
I mean, this is one thing that has really gotten the EFF, right on the ground. But the Freedom Front Plus is saying, hey, be careful. Pass up, you may be bordering on civil war.
Now look, we are tired of the right-wing threats. They've been threatening civil war from a long time ago. You'll remember during the CODESA negotiations, they were threatening civil war. They even went to try to disrupt the negotiations for a transition from apartheid to an all-inclusive system where all South Africans could vote. And that is what they do. Every time there's going to be a radical shift politically or economically, you will find the right wing that is going to throw threats, but they've got no capacity, because what we're proposing as the EFF is that the black majority or the parliamentary majority should change the constitution to expropriate land without compensation for equal redistribution, because the manner in which the post-1994 government has handled land reform has been problematic. Billions of rands have been spent buying pieces of land, majority of which goes back to the original owners that they had benefited from that land through colonial conquest. And we're now coming with a sustainable, durable position that let the state be custodian of all land in South Africa, like it is the custodian of all mineral rights in South Africa, and whoever seeks to utilize the land in South Africa must use it on a license basis, so that we do not have a situation that only the moneyed will own huge pieces of land and they're engaged in a variety of activities that the land gives. Okay. So we are now proposing a much more durable solution, which I think that majority of the ANC members are beginning to appreciate the logic and the superiority of the logic that we're presenting, that we need to give land to the people of South Africa. All South Africans need land. We're not going to be entertaining Freedom Front right-wing sentiments. They do that. All right-wingers do that all over the world. Whenever they're supposed to be changed, they will shout and threaten war. They've got no capacity for war, and they must never ever threaten war, because they will never win. They will never win qualitatively. They will never win quantitatively. They will be wiped out if they ever threaten war. We're not threatening any war. We're putting a proposal in a democratic platform that we should expropriate land without compensation.
Maroti, you are in Cape Town.
Hey, good day.
Yes, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You see, the problem with the today ANC is just the looting and corruption. I am not a member of EFF, but everyone, even if it's a blind man, can see the light. These people, they are captured, even they are not representing us in parliament. They are representing their own minority and Gupta interest. They are captured, they are looting left and right. Even for now, they are just doing it, you know what, they are looting for the last piece of the cake. They are no longer hiding it. This is the wake-up call for every South African to make sure you put the cross in the right way. You put your money where your mouth is. Okay. This is out, you know what, everyone will get cross. They are so vocabulary disease. You tell people, when people are suffering for job and you are eating with Gupta, you say, let the rent go down, we will pick it. What is that? They are so arrogant and they don't care. At some stage, they will be telling the people, we don't beg your dirty vote. Now they want the vote. They don't remember their debt. We have to stand, all of us as South Africans, and fight for this country. Okay. We can't allow this to continue. Zuma must go together with his dead ANC. Thank you.
Maroti, thank you very much for the call there in Cape Town. Now, I guess... I don't know whether people don't understand the extent of this state capture, or it is not as rife as you are saying it is.
Do you know the function of raising political consciousness and awareness in a country like South Africa, where majority of our people are deprived of information, is a very complex one. That is why, since the formation of the EFF, we go on the ground to build strong branches of the EFF. We said 2017 is the year of the branch, so that our branches, on a constant basis, they raise the political consciousness of our people, to illustrate to them that the state capture that we speak about, the Gupta influence and the Gupta thieving that is happening is directly linked to them not having water, is directly linked to their schools not having books, is directly linked to them not having clinics, is directly linked to the fact that in few years' time, if the ANC continues to be in power, they're not going to get the social grants, they're not going to get the old age grants that they are receiving now, because when the economy is not growing, when there is huge corruption, when the economy is going backward like it has been doing now, it means that there won't be money to give social grants and deal with basic services for our people. So we are going to be doing the conscientization work that we've been doing for a very long time. And we're quite sure now that we're making the necessary inroads. We're the only political party, by the way, that grew quantitatively in terms of numbers between 2014 and 2016. And in 2019, we can beat the ANC for well. Whoever is elected in the ANC, the EFF is going to take it below 50% and will show them the door that they must go and be opposition benches. They must learn that they are not entitled to power. They are not entitled to government. They can be opposition and be taught from opposition benches how government is run in an accountable and responsive way.
Katakani, Mule Milnerton.
Yeah, hey, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can I speak to Deputy President of the EFF?
He is listening.
Yeah,
Hello, Floyd Shivambu.
hello, how are you?
I'm okay.
It's all.
Yeah, I Cape Town. Yeah, I just want to say we're proud of the EFF, what it's doing. We are learning from each and has exposed so much from our country. We have seen that the ANC has been captured by the Guptas. So we're saying keep up with the good fight, and we are not scared of taking the land back. We can take it anytime we want. So we just want the land using to amend our Section 25 of the Constitution.
Katakani.
So we support you.
Okay, Kensil Katakani, Milnerton. You have rather held back on this forceful occupation of land?
No, look, we have said from the founding manifesto of the EFF that the EFF will associate itself with all movements and all people that occupy land for residential purposes and for whatever purpose. And there are so many settlements, these proper human settlements of people now that are a result of the programs which the EFF proudly associates with. From our National People's Assembly in 2014, we called on our people to occupy land, and are doing so. We're not apologetic about it, because people must redistribute land. If the state is failing to redistribute land, the people must take action and occupy land, and there's completely nothing wrong with that, because it's about the redistribution of land. This is our land. It's the land of the people of South Africa. They must occupy it whenever they deem it suitable. There is no individual who came with land from wherever they came from. This is the land of our forefathers, and it must be utilized productively to accommodate all its citizens.
Now, why should I, on June 16, not go and listen to the official message of the state president, who will be speaking on behalf of all South Africans, and go and listen to Julius Malema?
Look, to go and listen to Jacob Zuma, you are just going to listen to lies and empty promises. They've been making promises from time immemorial. You remember when Jacob Zuma became a president in 2009, he said he's going to create 500,000 jobs within 6 months. And instead of that, the jobs have been going the other direction. More than 2-3 million jobs have been lost under his presidency. So the empty promises are just going to be what is going to be given by Jacob Zuma on June 16. But the commander-in-chief of the economic freedom fighters, the commander-in-chief of the emancipation movement, is going to be giving a clear directive of how to attain black solidarity, to advance our people, to make sure that we learn from the fighting generation of 1976 that started the struggles in Soweto, and it caught fire in the whole of South Africa to the extent that the apartheid regime had no option but to go to the negotiating table. If it was not because of that generation, will possibly still be living under apartheid, but the youth were courageous enough to take action, and the Commander-in-Chief will be inspiring the youth of South Africa to take action against the corrupt government towards a much more emancipated and economic freedom-driven government of South Africa.
Floyd Shivambu, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I was the Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Floyd Shivambu, right here on Question Time. And that was all we had for you today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. Iba Khotso.